after last week's craziness, I was like, I can't miss the next one. You know what I'm saying? Like, after not being able to be live for the legendary chapter 405, I was like, I can't. Whatever needs to happen, we are going to be up and in like somewhere for the next chapter. It's just going too good right now. It's going too good. Let me get the camera up. Give me a second. Dude, y'all. We are experiencing Hanta Toyabu at potentially the highest level. And I mean this as someone who has the Chimera Ant arc in the absolute highest regard, right? Not just Chimera Ant. York New, Greed Island, the chairman election. There's so many of these arcs that I hold at the very, very highest, right? And it's not even just in Hunter x Hunter. In Yu Yu Hakusho, I have the Dark Tournament and Chapter Black. It like so many of Togashi's arcs, I have like held in the highest caliber. But what we're experiencing right now was just so ambitious, so insane, that it feels like Togashi, the entire journey he's had as an author, is sort of culminating here, and he's creating his very best stuff. It's nuts. It's nuts, man. And when I was reading chapter 405, and you get those reveals back to back to back, you get the long-term payoff of continuing to set up this stuff with Hisoka, with Crollo, and Morena in particular. Of course, with the princes mixed in there. But for the characters that I'm so emotionally invested in, it just really, really hit different. And so, I don't even know what I want from this chapter. I obviously want to see the continuation with the Hulkenberg stuff, because it's so... I keep messing it up. Hulkenberg is the one from Metaphor. Hulkenberg is the one from this game. Hulkenberg stuff that's been super, super insane. Alongside the Prince Benjamin plotline and what's going on there, obviously, Terror Sandwich. But it's like, bro, after last chapter, man, I really, really want to see either the troop, considering how the chapter ended, Morena the Legend, and maybe even Hisoka too, bro. I don't know. I don't know what I want, but I know it's not going to matter because my boy's going to give me what I need. Not what I want. What I need. And so, let me know if the audio's good. I truly, truly appreciate everybody who's here on a Monday, where we normally don't stream Monday mornings, but today is Veterans Day, so we are home in the morning for the greatness. All love to everyone. Shout-outs, Mofos, Ragi, Abuzar, Nile, John, Neo Starfinder, Marcel, my boy Shadow, Frodo Baggage, this is me. All love to everyone that's stopping by here today for some peak. Horace, yo, it's been a minute. Aditya, Rugger, Ben and Jerry's, appreciate y'all so much. So all love to everyone. It is time for some peak. Bro, I was talking about it the other day in the server. This arc really feels like the culmination of his legacy. Shadow, it reminds me of Steel Ball Run for Araki, right? Where Steel Ball Run for Araki feels like everything that he's experienced and learned throughout the years just coming together. Right, and he creates something that's truly unique to him because of his voice and what he does with his stories. But then you see how he's evolved as a storyteller from the very beginning until now, which I think is why the parallels are so key and important. I've actually Shadow. I know I've been making the comparison a lot, but this arc is probably the closest that any series has made me feel to what like after season 2 Kubera is, where I could not believe that Kurigan was writing that series on a weekly basis because of how much revision I believed was needed to write something like that. And obviously Togashi has the hiatuses to really make things tight and revise things from this rough draft stage into like a final draft. But it's still really, really insane to be able to pull that off. And so it reminds me of like POV switch. This feels like an epic fantasy novel Kubera. That's what this feels like. I made the comparison last chapter review that it reminds me so much of our chapter reaction. that reminds me a lot of what George R. R. Martin did with the fourth book in Game of Thrones, right? With like introducing a lot of new characters while continuing the story with some of the characters that we already know and love. But then we get really attached to the new characters, and it's like it's brilliant. I really do appreciate what he's doing with the Succession War, because it feels so Yoshihiro Togashi, while at the same time bringing something truly fresh and unique to his story that I feel it feels like Hunter x Hunter. It feels like the correct direction the series should have taken, the correct evolution that it took from the Hunter exams until now, where it's the culmination of his legacy, like you said, not just in terms of Hunter x Hunter, but the culmination of Yu Yu Hakusho and of Level E and everything that he's written throughout the course of all these years. And so, let me go ahead and get on the viz.com so we can read some greatness here today. Because man, oh man, after the last chapter, it's been so good, right? Because so many of my favorite things are popping off right now. Arcane just dropped, super dope. One Piece is obviously in a really good spot, but a lot of the weekly series that I'm experiencing are just they're killing it. And the fact that we have Yoshihiro Togashi back in here again and putting in unbelievable work, where we're getting chapters upon chapters that have me questioning, like, yo, is this one of my favorite chapters in the arc? Back to back. It's like, yo, we know we're in a good stretch. And so let's get right into the awesome sauce here, chapter 406. Exactly. Yo, Northside, what's good? What's good, Northside, man? All love to y'all. My guy. Exactly, the density of it. Yeah, Franklin Armstrong. So it's not a manga, it's a webtoon. It's a webtoon called Kubera, One Last God. Just read it. If it interests you, just read it, because it is genuinely one of my favorite things that I've experienced within not just webtoons. I would just say in comics in general. It's brilliant. It's really brilliant. And so I think anyone who enjoys Hunter x Hunter would enjoy that series, not just because of the powers and abilities, but because of the way the story's told. It's really striking. All right, let's get right into this. Chapter 406. We start off with the troop. Let's go. The first thing I saw when I looked down, I saw Finks' face and was like, yo, Finks! It's time. We're continuing exactly where we left off. D's POV comes in with a 9.99. All love to my boy Northside. Says, the greatest incomplete story. We don't need a completion, baby. We do not need it to be complete. We are currently in the DLC era of Hunter x Hunter. And it's the greatest DLC anyone could ever ask for. It is Shadow of the Erd Tree levels of legendary DLC. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nuts. It is actually insane how anyone can finish Hunter x Hunter where the anime left off and consider it to be one of the greatest animes ever made. And then the people who are reading the manga are like, dude, this is like the best stuff ever. But you could have a complete experience finishing it with chapter 339. And it's just greatest incomplete story. Greatest incomplete story. I appreciate you, D's POV. Thank you so much for the 10 and for being with us here today. Rocky says, it's been years I've been putting Kubera on hold. Said, once I free my reading schedule, ReZero, reread, it's time to get back to that. Dude, Rocky, I've been slacking on that. I need to watch ReZero this season. It's been difficult to keep up with my weeklies. But in the anime side, I've been keeping up with Blue Box, obviously. Oh my god, I've been loving Blue Box in the anime. And then Bleach, I'm very much looking forward to experiencing that tonight. Or tonight or tomorrow for catching up on the last 2 episodes I've missed out on, because that's been super good too. But I need to watch ReZero, man. And I can only imagine how good the light novels have to be, considering how insane the anime is. So, yeah, definitely been slacking on that. Chapter 406, titled Regalia, by Yoshihiro Togashi. Of course, they're going down this corridor. Here, this is a tight squeeze. We're weaving between gaps of the building. Oh yeah, Nobunaga, I'll keep your sword for you when I head back. By the way, I really liked Nobunaga last chapter. I think the decisive nature of coming up with things on the spot was very on brand for the character, considering the same Nobunaga that we knew back in York New City was also making very quick not just decisions, but he was deducing a lot of things really, really quickly in regards to Gon and Killua and what was going on with Kurapika, and like he was just a very smart dude, obviously. So him making those declarations last chapter for things that we already knew, but to know the Phantom Troop were also on the same page, it was just very on brand for his character, and I like that a lot. I like that a lot for Nobunaga. Anyways, I'll keep your sword for you when I head back. I gave you official IDs, but the military won't turn a blind eye to such an obvious weapon. What? Why am I singled out? Dude, I just made this. I'm not going. Listen, will you? Listen, will you? Yours is the only obvious one. Makeshift fake, anyway. It's, obviously this is going to be important. It's up to you, but Tier 2 has a lot of young, inexperienced soldiers that may just shoot... that may just shoot you. A hatch. From here on out, things will be a bit rough. Oh, man. Are we about to see the leveled up monsters that we started to see at the end of last chapter? What the flip? Dude, this page looks nuts. I feel like I gotta flip this. Hold on. Bro, this feels like I'm reading a horror manga. Look at this. Look at the detail. What is that artistic technique called? Flag notch, cross-hatching. This looks like Togashi utilized a lot of cross-hatching here. Because it has that type of dude, this looks amazing. It looks amazing. I feel like more so than how good it looks, it's making me feel very uncomfortable looking at this. Like it feels not only massive, it feels wrong. It feels dude, this just looks nuts. This looks nuts. Like this scale is crazy. It just goes to show, like Shadow is saying, how massive the whale is. What an amazing double page spread. Togashi's Ergo Proxy era. Yo, true that, right? The art in this chapter is insane. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, no, Blue Box has been incredible. Blue Box, I've been loving what they're doing with the anime. They're doing a magnificent adaptation. But yo, this, dude. It feels so unsettling, but at the same time, it just fits. It fits the tone. So we see the sort of roar that's in like the creak and the grrr and the right, the rumbling that's being caused by these things. We're next to the hole of the black whale. Keep climbing these stairs and you'll get to the top of Tier 2. So this is like when we were Cloudbeard and Tifa going up Shinra headquarters, and they took the stair route instead of the elevator route. So that's what Nobunaga and them are doing right now. But this looks nuts. Nuts, man. I love this panel on the left in particular, where it shows just how massive these things are in scale to Nobunaga, and how he's looking at it, right? Crazy. Crazy. Following page, PU. It takes me back, just like the cesspit back home. And Finks, obviously, calling back to the flashback, is dripping with waste products from 200,000 souls on board. So this reminds me of Meteor City. That's actually really interesting. The two waste products from 200,000 souls on board, recycling and sewage treatment facilities are between tiers 4 and 5. So tier 5 is below the sewers. Cha-R, Aznable, and ZU manage the treatment plants. Crazy stuff there with them, by the way, as well, last chapter. That's right, some things are convenient when you're the one handling the trash. But the actual work is left to subcontractors, and running that is left to the underlings, right? They won't report to you every time subcontractors change. Are you saying that Haley, now I got a reason to turn back? Replace the waste treatment personnel and they're free to kill all they want. Pretend to be the employment agency and lure a whole mass of prey there. Finks. I love how Finks is the one to be like, yeah, we can utilize this as a strategy. You know, hey, screw it. Yeah, they'd be free to do as they please. They could pretend to do this, and it would be good to go. Call it interview. Take each one to separate room. Assembly line the rest. Assembly line the rest is crazy. Being with you guys makes me think I'm a model citizen. Yo, for real, right? Listening to them, you get to see the how different they are in regards to their mindset. Okay, I'm heading back. I'll ask him I'll ask him stuff if I find them. Good luck. So Nobunaga is now separating from Phaeton and Finks as they continue forward. Sure, got any tips for us regarding their hideout? Oh yeah, the guy protecting it is a counter type. Attack him, and you'll trigger some invincible nonsense. So be careful. Once activating Nendals that look like security robots will kick warp you away. Crazy ability. The door between rooms A and B in the floor plan I gave you is the warp point to tier 3. Shouldn't you have told us that first? So we can't attack at all? Let them attack first. Legit self-defense should be okay. And so that's the way that Phaeton is looking at it. We cut over and we get to see, I believe, the rest of the hole here. Amazing art. Reminds me of like a Dead Space shot. It looks incredible. An empty room here. We're seeing something clash on the bottom. Isn't this the same place, right? Whenever, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that a view into where Nobunaga fought or attempted to fight the security guard thing? Wasn't that this room? Or am I tripping? So we see something, of course, that transforms and it becomes what appears to be a box. So from the bottom of the desk, or I'm sorry, the bottom of the bookcase, and it transforms into something else. Let me know on that. So, because I definitely need an update on this. Yo, Kev, what's good, yo? What's good? That's the transmitter Henrig left in the base is turning back to its real form. That's what it is. Thank you for the reminder on that. Okay, because I was like, I'm pretty sure that we've seen something like this before. So this is the transmitter that Henrig, that Henrig left in the base, and it's now coming back to its real form. Interesting. Okay. So I'll have to keep that in mind. I'll have to put a bookmark on that. And then, of course, we pull out and we see the entire room and how it looks in comparison now that it's back in its original form. It's getting really crowded. They're here to send off Hulkenberg. And not Hulkenberg, Hulkenberg. He was popular with the people. Where's Lynch? Becky Lynch? She had something to do back at the office. The Haley got away last time when the military intervened. Next time we see them, catch them and have Lynch make them talk. Asking them about their own traps is the most efficient way. Henrik, look down. Shocked face expression, as if, it reminds me of Detective Conan. Whenever, an individual dies in Detective Conan and they've been poisoned, or whatever the case may be, and they have, that really crazy facial expression. Sweet mother of Flagnard. So, we found her during our final sweep ahead of the funeral procession. We knew she was ZU, so we contacted you first. A complete cervical fracture. That sounds painful. That this guy knew what to do and did it fast. He's a pro. A war has broken out. A Haley hitman probably got her. We'll take care of the body, so don't write it up. Just to clarify, you split with Lynch after Hisoka, right? So obviously, Lynch now has been taken out, and that's what we're seeing here within the body bag, which is nuts. Split with Lynch after Hisoka left, right? He knocked us both out. If Hisoka did, he would have killed both of us then. True, what if Lynch went after Hisoka on her own? No, I would have been able to tell. She's really transparent that way. In fact, I had just woken up and I was woozy, but thinking back, Lynch was uncharacteristically calm. She wasn't the type to be worried about my well-being right after someone knocked her out. Someone else. What if Lynch was someone else? Something that we've been cooking throughout the course of this arc. What? The real Lynch was already dead, and someone else took over the body. And if the one who woke you up was someone else, you're saying someone was disguised as Lynch? Maybe, if that was Hisoka, what would he do that? Wait, what? I don't get it. That wasn't Lynch? Hisoka was disguised as her? No, he's much taller than her. Oh, wait. Lynch and I were just talking about that. It would make more sense if she were being manipulated. True, I've never met anyone who can change their height. But if Hisoka was a manipulator... I love how Hisoka just has everyone spooked. Just has them spooked. What's the point of getting her to wake you up just to tell you she was going back to the office? If she had disappeared without a word, we'd have to think of all sorts of possibilities. Wouldn't that be better from the enemy's perspective? Well, maybe he wanted to box us in. So, something that's extremely interesting. After playing the Silent Hill 2 remake and watching Uzumaki, the switch between Tier 4 and 5 reminds me of the Toluca prison and the spiral stairs at the end of episode 4. Togashi just casually replicating two peak horror stories vibes in 2 panels. Just what's interesting about that, David, is thanks to interviews, we know how much horror cinema, whether it be horror manga, novels, and or movies, have inspired Hunter x Hunter. We know that for a fact. So, as well as obviously Yu Yu Hakusho. So we know that those have had a significant impact, and I definitely would not throw either of those two, considering just how iconic Silent Hill 2 was on the PlayStation 2 and Uzumaki is a manga. So I definitely would not throw out the wrong possibilities. And it's just so cool how Togashi-fies those things and reminds you of those things. Because it just really makes you feel uncomfortable, similar to how Silent Hill 2 does. And in Uzumaki, obviously. I need to play the Silent Hill 2 remake, by the way. I've only played the original. I need to play the remake. But now we continue here with the Lynch stuff. Box us in. Yeah, it's inconvenient to him if we think about all the possibilities, so he tried to limit our ideas. That would fit with the manipulation theory. Tell me everything she said. Maybe it'll give us a hint. Let's see. I heard her voice saying, "Wake up." She said, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Huh?" Oh yeah, and then she clearly said that was definitely Hisoka. That's it. That's what he wanted us to limit ourselves to. Wait. We were just saying Hisoka might have been Lynch. But then that wasn't Hisoka, then who? Lynch found out Hisoka was a fake through her ability. That's why he silenced her. You were left alive to tell the rest of us that you found Hisoka, not realizing that it wasn't actually him. A fake Hisoka manipulated her to trick me. Who would ever do something so complicated? Obviously Barnanelov. That's where it's obvious. This guy is looking for Hisoka and doesn't want us to interfere. If we found Hisoka first, the fake Hisoka figured that we would hide that fact and give permission to their side to search for Hisoka in vain. And that is in fact what happened. But this deduction is based on an assumption. The facts are that you two found Hisoka and then someone killed Lynch. If it was the Phantom Troop, we'll have to go to war with Char too. It's not a fight we should start based on speculations, but love this panel right here with the darkness and the facial expression. We'll avenge her death, right? No matter who it was, of course. And it begins! And it begins! Hold up, man. Hold up. My guy! I love this. I love this so much. We'll avenge her death, right? No matter who it was. Of course. Y'all ain't avenging nothing. Not when that man is the head coach. Not when my guy, reigning from Big Meteor, rocking his best fit ever, might be the best fit in anime history. Right there. Look at it. My guy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love this panel of Chrollo, by the way. I love this panel of Chrollo. It just feels very somber, very melancholic. Like he's pondering something. It just feels great. It feels so good. That's my guy, man. That's Chrollo. Nobunaga and Heroic romance might be over. It might have been over before it started, Momame. Like as much as we wanted the bromance to continue, we knew on the ship that almost everyone was about to get wiped. So it's like, well, maybe in the afterlife. You know what I'm saying? Maybe in the afterlife. Yo, my guy, Chrollo. Manga is so beautiful as an art form, and we see that, Cal. Like we see that not only throughout the course of this chapter, but also in situations like this. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. My guy Crollo. Okay, please tell me we stick with this. The funeral procession will be passing through shortly. We're expecting a massive crowd. Please remember this is a respectful event. Do not run or push others. Please observe in silence. May 9th Prince Hulkenberg rest in peace. This reminds me of that section in Junon with all the characters. Is that the Sun and Moon book? My guy! So, not only do we see Crow, now we actually go to his point of view. So he's over there at the funeral procession. We see Crollo. He's inside of the book. He makes a call. He's doing, of course, flipping. Forgot the name of the ability, but Shalnark's ability with the phone. The person whose number you have called is not in this area. Please try again later or in a different location. The number of calls you have left today is not even in this crowd. Come to think of it, it was the same at the Heavens Arena. Do I try somewhere else with this number, or do I loosen the restrictions a bit? Should I go to Tier 1, where they're in the middle of a succession battle, even if it's riskier? There should be far more people with abilities hiding. The succession battle ritual bestows Nen abilities. They use those abilities and fight until there's a sole survivor. Used in the succession battle is Kaiken's Regalia, the 3 sacred treasures I seek. So, Kaiken's Regalia is the one piece that Crollo is looking for. The 3 sacred treasures that he seeks. The ritual vase used for the succession battle participants, the seed urn, that's one. So the seed urn is one. The divine mummy, overseer of the succession battle, the lotus anchorite is the second one. And the third one is the sword of accession given to the next king, the sword of good omens. So this dude is planning on taking the vase that's used to create these Nen beasts, the thing that's overseeing the whole battle in the lotus anchorite, and then the sword of accession that's given to the next king. He's planning on stealing all 3. Real thievery, man. Lupin, Nami, Fujiko Mine. We are out. The Phantom Thieves, Magic Kaito. We are out here in real Phantom Thief mode, bro. This man is trying to take the most important things within the succession battle. The sword of accession given to the next king. Love this page. Love this page. The sword of good omens. The royal family must have found out by now, through the mafia, that we're on board. They would never believe we're here just to look for Hisoka, and in fact we are after their treasure too. The heist of the Millennium Neo Starfinder. Thank you, Shadow. I appreciate you so much. I'll DM you the ability description that was written in the book. Please. Please, because Lord knows that I would never be able to read such a thing. I would definitely appreciate you. Oh, it's a new ability. The phone is a new ability. Thank you guys for. So the phone is a brand new ability that he gained from this individual that's pictured in the book, not Shalnark's ability. Okay, gotcha. See, this is why we love having chat live in here, because I would have been, okay, that might be Shalnark's ability. Gotcha. So definitely send me that, Shadow, whenever you get the opportunity. The sword of obsession gives us the next king. We're about to have the heist of the century. The royal family must have found out by now through the mafia that we're on board. They would never believe we're here just to look for Hisoka, and in fact we are after their treasure too. Whether they keep all 3 together in one place or disperse the risk is up to Kaiken. Therefore, we thoroughly searched for Hisoka and the 3 treasures at the same time from the bottom up. Since neither the mafia nor the military changed their moves much, even after they heard about us upstairs, it's significantly less likely they're in tiers 3 through 5. When I found out that Nen abilities were used in the succession battle and the 3 treasures were involved, I knew that the 3 treasures are the system used to create the powerful Nen needed, not only for the succession battle, but to maintain the prosperity of Kaiken itself. It's like these 3 things keep the hierarchy in check. These 3 things maintain the status quo. There must be a focal point, a funeral hall, where the treasures are enshrined, which means it has to be in tier 1. Holy treasures, literally forming the root of Kaiken's prosperity, would be guarded more strictly than the king himself. The greatest prize to steal. That would undoubtedly satisfy the conditions required to upgrade Skill Hunter. He's like, yo, I gotta achieve my Bankai. I have to achieve Skill Hunter's Bankai. You know what that is? Skill Hunter's already one of the coolest abilities ever. And he's like, yo, I have to get to the next stage. We've gotta achieve Bankai, man. We've gotta achieve it, dude. The heist of a century for the upgrade of a century. That's the power I need to kill Hisoka. This dude is out here like last time. Within that battle, I should have taken you out. And that was my mistake for not finishing the job. The job ain't finished, Chief. We're finishing the job. I will finish the job. These treasures will allow Skill Hunter to get to the point where I will be able to finish the job. That upgrade will allow me to finish the job. Hisoka's still rent-free on the mind. We love to see it. We love to see it. That's the power I need to kill Hisoka for good this time. In order to steal such a rare and powerful ability and put it in the book, I have to achieve stealing a national treasure level item before the usual activation conditions. Dude, if Chrollo pulls this off, he is a thief on the level of the legends, man. It's getting harder to keep control over two conflicting emotions. Oh man, we're seeing Chrollo from mine. It's getting harder to keep control over two conflicting emotions. I mustn't be impatient, but I can't wait forever. Making the attempt carries a greater risk going to Tier 1. Increases the chances that I'd run into Hisoka before I'm completely ready to fight. But that's not a big problem right now. So he's like, yo, I might run into Hisoka before I get this ability, but that's alright. But that's alright, man. Seriously, what? Needing to steal the greatest tier of items to upgrade your ability, that's so cool. That is so video games, right? Which obviously goes back to Morena and the RPG-like nature of her abilities. But I just think that's so cool because it's so video games, right? Like most of the time whenever you have to make an upgrade in a game, you have to find like a specific item or a specific thing that will allow you to unlock that next part of your either skill tree or whatever. Like first thing that pops in my mind, obviously, is whenever you have to go out and find the items around the world for your limit breaks, right? And in FF7 where you have to go out and do like the thing on the piano or whatever the case may be to unlock your final limit break. So you have to find this item or these things in order to unlock the next part of your abilities and or the max stage of your abilities. And that's so cool to me. That's just so cool to me. And it's so on brand for Yoshihiro Togashi, obviously, as with so many things in the series that are already very video gamey in nature. But even for something like Skill Hunter, for treasures, for these mass treasures to be the key behind the ability is just super, super dope. But I also like Hisoka's internal conflict here and his conflicting emotions on what he should do. What's the thing that he should do versus the thing that he wants to do? Like, obviously, he wants to take out Hisoka at all costs, but he's trying to rationalize the logical conclusion that if he were to go across him again right now, who's to say that he won't defeat him, but he won't die again? So he needs this in order to finish him off for good. So it's like, I'm conflicted. I'm conflicted, man. And it's just brave. Bro, what is this page turn, dog? I turned the page in the middle of me talking. What in the world am I looking at the top of the page, bro? This dude Chrollo looks like he was drawn by flipping Da Vinci. Yo, look at his eyes. Look at the hair. Look at the energy, bro. I mean, this is... Oh... Dude! Dude! Look at it! Look at the flipping page! The next best option is already in place. The spiders will go on. It will go on, bro. F me, F them, F everything. The will of the spider will go on. The consistent thing throughout the course of the entire, ever since we knew the Phantom Troop until now. The spider will live on. But dude, this panel of Chrollo goes so hard. So hard, dude. What a peak flipping page turn. What? Yo, Chrollo's about to crash out, Slimo. It's crazy. Pico Raw Fire, the universal language. Dude. page. So that's why he was building up Chrollo's back here. We turn the page and see this. I mean, look at the energy here. It's like you feel the emotions. This page, this panel, is why I am so firm in the fact that Yoshihiro Togashi is the one who needs to draw this series. This is straight from Togashi's brain. You cannot give this to someone else to draw. It just wouldn't be the same. Like, this is the type of tone, the energy, that only this dude can have for his series. Like, what a powerful page turn. This didn't even need words. Togashi could have left the words off, and you would know exactly what Chrollo's feeling in this moment. I mean, dude, what a flipping powerful page turn. Look, I just love the way this is drawn. From the hair to the bit, it just looks so clean. While also making you feel despair. It's making you feel conflicted. It's making you feel emotional. It makes you feel angry. It's so many different things. Going back to what we were talking about earlier. Legacy arc. An arc that is going on everything that he has learned throughout the course of the series. This very much reminds me of like those crazy panels with Meruem. The crazy panels with Netero. Even go back to Yu Yu Hakusho. The crazy panels with Shinobu Sensui. And seeing the internal conflict expressed through the art. That's what we're seeing here with Chrollo, dude. Dude, this might be my favorite Chrollo panel, and I can't believe I'm saying that. This looks crazy. It looks insane. Hisoka, you are dead. You feel me? The realist is like, yo. I think that's what Togashi's trying to say. Like, dude, if this man gets that final treasure, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. Post-death Chrollo Nen is gonna go crazy. That's the crazy thing about this arc, too. So you can't count anyone being out of the count just because they die. Because there's so much post-mortem from the beginning of this arc. There's so much going into post-mortem Nen that Chrollo could legit get stronger after death. It's kind of nuts. It's kind of nuts. Chrollo is so all in at this point. He's already reached the resentment, determination level stuff, and Nen after death activation. Facts. Facts. Crazy. Hall of Fame Togashi panel right there. This is up there with the Palace Invasion. Yes, up there with the Palace Invasion stuff. Incredible. Wow, what a page turn. I was not expecting that when I turned the page. That got me so off guard. Even if I may die, and we have the blood splatter, and then we see Chrollo from the back, that is what is worthy of awe. My design of the spiders. He said, that is my vision for the spiders. I'm the coach, and I call the shots. And this is what I envision the spiders to be. This is what the legacy is. Where even if I may die, this is what I had in mind for the spiders from the get-go. But what's very interesting about this is when he says, the next best option is already in place. That to me is super interesting. That is something that I look forward to exploring as we continue on with the arc. Because that line is so it feels like it has so much weight to it. The next best option is already in place. That has to be one of my favorite pages in the arc, no question. From the Chrollo face to the blood splatter, and then we see him from afar, and we see his Nen going crazy. His Conqueror's Haki is leaking, dude. The brother has in so much Conqueror's Haki that it is just leaking through the page, not just from his face, but his entire body. His entire body is feeling the determination, the despair, the excitement, the conflict between logic and emotion and everything. Everything's just exploding all at once. And you feel that from both the facial expression and from... what a page, man. What a page, dude. What a page. We continue on with the funeral procession, and we continue with the ringing. We see people crying. The casket is being carried. The person whose number you have called has been found. The person whose number you have called has been found, but it is out of Nen range. What a page! So we see like all of the individuals here, the casket being carried. Please change your coordinates and try again. The number of calls you have left today is Crollo. So upstairs, as I thought. Oh my god. Oh my god. Bro, this is about to pop off, man. This is about to pop off, dude. Crollo's figured it out. He's about to head upstairs. And we already know that something is about... It feels like the troop is truly about to go through it. Because Baronelov is by his lonesome. We've got Finks and Phaeton going by themselves against the Haley Guard. With the big security thing. Nobunaga's about to be by his lonesome. And now we're about to have my dog Crollo going up the stairs for the sacred treasure. If Crollo can run into anyone in Tier 1, it'll be peak fiction, especially considering what we just got in this chapter and how he views not just the Kaiken succession, but also his interest within the Nenbeast concept and the individuals behind it. So he's going to be able to see that firsthand. I promise you right now, bro. We get an interaction between Crollo and Terror Sandwich, and that chapter is the chapter of the stretch. I don't care. That's chapter of the stretch. It's chapter of the stretch. Crollo meets Terror Sandwich and sees it firsthand. That's chapter of the stretch. I don't give a flying flatteners, man. I really don't. That's the chapter of the stretch, man. And listen, we know we're Kurapika. Stop playing, man. We're about to cook. Crollo, like Shogun just said, Kurapika, Hisoka, Terror Sandwich, and Crollo all on the same floor. Tier 1 is leaking with Conqueror's Hockey. It legit is the most dangerous place on the planet. It's Tier 1 on this boat, dude. Crazy stuff. What an amazing final spread. You guys said this at the beginning of the chapter, but the art in this chapter, truly incredible. Truly incredible. From the horror of the hole in the whale, the incredible dope spreads, and even the paneling of certain things, and then of course the Crollo panel. It was just in the final page. Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff, yo. Hanta Toyabu. So let me go ahead and check and see if Shadow sent me the ability here so I can see it. Yes. Okay. So Shadow says, coming in from the ability, Macgate Narumi, Love Dial 6700, Disgusting Telephone. Use a conjured cell phone to find your ideal partner. Inputting your criteria will generate a 6 to 20-digit number. Call that number and you'll receive instructions. That sounds like a crazy ability, dude. Also very video game. Love Dial 6700, Disgusting Telephone. So you're going to use a cell phone to find your ideal partner, and you will then receive instructions, which is why Crollo's not going to be heading upstairs. I see. Thank you for sending me that, Shadow. Actually clears up a lot of what I was thinking of there at the end. No way he's looking for Morena, right? That would be my interaction of the series. You'll be like second only to Komugi and Meruem. And and obviously Jing and Gon. Like I would bro. If I see the head coaches, I see Crollo and Morena in an interaction. It's over, man. That's too much hockey. Way too much hockey. Way too much hockey. I way too much hockey. Way too much hockey. Tier 1 players are Crollo, Hisoka, Kurapika, Terror Sandwich, Benjamin, Hulkenberg. Tier 1 is legit the craziest place on the planet, man. It is the craziest place on the planet. Marcel says, love these panels that show the scale of the black whale. It's easy to forget that the black whale is longer than the Heavens Arena is tall. Yeah, great point, Marcel. Like, I'm glad we got that panel that we got within the chapter at the beginning, but also the panel that's showing the funeral procession. Because it's really showing just how you said, how crazy this whale is in scale. It feels like it's an island that is, to use a One Piece term, it's like Zunisha going in a certain direction. If Zunisha had like the mass density of something like I don't know, a Dressrosa that has like many different citizens. It's such a huge location that is on the sea floating, and it's a cruise ship that feels like it's just a massive. It's a civilization within a civilization. It's crazy. It's actually crazy. Beyond, Jing, Pariston, Crollo, Hisoka, Kurapika, Terra Sandwich, Morena, Hulkenberg. Too many goats, these BOB. Too many goats. And, bro, we haven't seen Jing and Pariston in a minute. And when we see them, that is going to... Bro, these chapters have been so good. I forgot about the Beyond Prince Child plotline. Like, it's too good. It's too good, man. This Welsh ship ain't survived the journey. If it does, that might be the biggest feat in anime history. Where is more dangerous to be? Tier 1 of the Black Whale or the Dark Continent? That might be what Beyond Netero is trying to say with this entire thing. Kurapika and Corolla might actually meet soon because of the barrier stuff stopping anyone from escaping. Good point, Ragi. So once Corolla gets up there and they're forced to be in the same place at the same time, then we're getting into some of the best stuff in the entire series, because we, of course, have been speculating on what that interaction would be. Obviously, Corolla wants Hisoka. Hisoka wants Crollo, and Kurapika wants Crollo. So it's like, what's going to happen when all of them are in the same place at the same time? A lot of intensity, very York New City-esque from a page-turning adrenaline standpoint. So you're absolutely right, Ragi. And that might be why Togashi's going as ham as he is on the chapters, because he feels it inside too. Like there's something that's just naturally being cooked up here with the characters, that it feels like it's the time. It's the time. And it's spooky for me as a massive Crollo fan, because, man, you got Emperor Time over here, and you got Gear 5 Hisoka, and it's like, oh, Lord, man, it's about to get great. It's about to be nuts, man. I'm sweating for all characters involved, because anything can happen here in Tier 1. Seriously. So the question is 405 or 406? That's a great question, man. I love them both for different reasons. Obviously, last chapter gave us our first look at the real Hisoka since the 357 chapter. Then we saw, obviously, the Phantom Troop there, and we saw Morena, which is huge for me. But this week's chapter, in terms of Crollo's character and the emotions, that's tough. I don't know, man. I love them both a lot. I don't know. I rock both of them. I don't know, man. Crollo stealing the treasures would end the succession war, which is exactly what Kurapika wants. Yeah, it's true. No more dead princes. Imagine him having to put his revenge aside to help Crollo with the treasures. It's like... that would be the ultimate dilemma for Kurapika, too. Could you imagine? Ooh, that just sounds like... Oh, that sounds like a dilemma that would cook. I would love that. I would love that, man. That sounds like an end of Attack on Titan Season 3 level dilemma, where the characters are truly placed in a position where they have to make a decision, Like, a decision needs to be made for the betterment of not just the individuals that you're with and that you want to protect, but also for something else that you also really want to do, and the readers can feel that decision. Oh, that would be such a great dilemma for Kurapika. I would love that. I would hate it for Kurapika, for the person, but as a character, I would love that. Over or under? Does a ship blow up in 2026, assuming Togashi doesn't take a break? No. I think I'm going the ship does not blow up. I'm going the ship makes it to the Dark Continent. Now, whether it internally blows up and like 90% of the individuals there make it, I don't make it, I should say. That remains to be seen. But I don't know. I'm going to say the ship does not blow up in 2026. The conflict between the troop members' intentions and Crow's intentions is so York New Core. It's so York New Core, Shadow. It's so York New Core, which is why I'm glad we got that in this week's chapter, as well as what we got from Nobunaga in last week's chapter. Very York New Core. Very, very York New Core. Imagine Kurapika's reaction once he finds out the person he hates the most is the one who puts a pause in the succession ritual and indirectly helps Kurapika's goal to save Wobble and Oito. Exactly. That dilemma is juicy, yo. We need it. We need it. We need it. Araki says, I think we might get side B of the Kurta backstory somewhere down the line. The thing Togashi himself said about this story having another side has to happen before a possible cooperation. Great point. Great point there as well, Ragi. And what better time for that, right? What better time for that other side, that Kurta backstory, than before a cooperation if it does happen. Because then, if within the flashback we see what truly took place, which recontextualizes everything, then maybe the reader would want them to team up and collaborate. And then the conflict of the narrative is what keeps them apart. And so it would be heartbreaking for us, while at the same time understanding what the characters feel. That would actually be great, you're right. Yeah, to get the backstory before the possible cooperation. To add that element of immersion and within that part of the story. Absolutely. Would you rather team up with Hisoka or Crollo? Well, I'm a Crollo tard, so I feel like I'd have to go Crollo, but I feel like teaming up with Hisoka has so many benefits as well. For obviously just knows how to get stuff done, but as we saw with Kurapika, Hisoka doesn't sell people out. I mean, obviously neither does Crollo, but for Crollo, it's like the spider is the importance of the mission. For Hisoka, the importance is a little different. So I feel like that's actually a good question. It would depend on the circumstances, Central. It would depend on the circumstances. What better way to ensure a transparent Kurapika-Crollo cooperation than the reward Longhi will provide than an end contract that will force Zetsu and whoever dares break it? Ooh, Pablo, that's... yeah, good point. That's a great point. That's a fantastic point. I didn't think that could possibly be used in a contra situation with those two. Yes. Yes. Yes, Pablo. Cook. Cook on that. Cook on that. Kacho might have been killed by breaking the rules set in by the Kaiken treasure after leaving the battleground for the ceremony. Yes. Absolutely, Shogun. Speak says, Crollo has never recovered. Shout out to my guy Speak, by the way. Crollo has never recovered from Sarasa. By the way, thank you to chat last week for pointing out the Sarasa thing from the chapter. There was also a big reveal. Big reveal from last chapter. Or at least potential implications for the Sarasa thing. Granted, he's made children safer by people fearing Meteor City. But his trauma is killing him. His friends suffered too, but they moved on, and he hasn't at all. Exactly, Speak. Exactly. He's such a great character. He sees the spider different to them no matter what he or they say outwardly. 100%. 100%. I think the mummy thing is the one with the hands that killed Kacho. So the lotus, right? So that would mean, obviously, breaking the rules within the ship is what caused Kacho's death, which would be under the mummy thing. Long as it doesn't come as a compromise by deflecting to Terrasan, which is the original offender of the Kurta. Leave it so Crollo did do something messed up too. I got you, Lazy Muff. Was like not to take that away from Crollo, basically, is what you're saying. Like, have it to be to where they, if we do see deflection to Terra Sandwich, that they both had a massive hand in that, right? Like, where he's not completely innocent in the entire thing either, but there is another side to the story. Shadow says, this is a really, really long shot, but if Crollo's plan is to find a replacement leader of the troop after his death, then ironically, Kurapika is the best candidate in terms of leadership parallels. You know, Shadow, that's exactly what I was thinking about when I was talking about the weight of what that page could represent. The words in this chapter, where he's like, the next best option has already been made clear, where he had like the panel of legend. I was thinking about that too. Like, so if he's talking about the next potential replacement to him, if he were to go down, in my mind, that would have to be Kurapika, from a thematic parallel standpoint. Which, how insane would that be? Obviously, a lot of things would have to happen. But how crazy would that be for how this series has or how the story was told to get to that point? Truly is the best candidate, though, Shadow. I agree with you. Truly is the best candidate. And it'd be crazy given his ability. Exactly, Ismofos. Roggy says, Baronelov put it best during his inner monologue. Let Hisoka be the last and put an end to the performance. Exactly. Going back to Speak's comment. The spider's legs want this whole affair to be done for Krollo's sake. Precisely. Let's put an end to this performance. All for Krollo's sake. It's like Shadow was saying earlier with the York New Corps, and even going back to what Pakunoda had to go through from an internal conflict standpoint at the end of York New City. It's like what the troop wants and what Krollo wants, that discrepancy in the middle, that's where the exciting dilemmas are presented. And what makes the Phantom Troop as an organization feel so real. They just feel so real. I've seen a theory that Krollo wants to upgrade Skill Hunter, and that's why he wanted the Scarlet Eyes. So, that's interesting, this is me. So, back in the day, he wanted to upgrade Skill Hunter, and that's why he wanted the Scarlet Eyes. Maybe that also being a thing today would be pretty interesting, too. Especially after this chapter and figuring out that these treasures are actually helping him to be able to evolve his abilities. So then Speak says, that depends. It's obvious Krollo seemingly sees the death of Spider members differently. Did Hisoka kill someone they grew up with to join? He wasn't mad at him then, or Silva to an extent, so he can surely understand Kurapika from his perspective. True that, Speak. True that. It's like, there is an understanding there. And I believe he even directly, I don't remember if he directly states this, but there is a moment of understanding from Krollo's side, in even back in York New City. I wouldn't be mad at Kurapika coming in, but Kurapika is headstrong. Can he look past it? And that's going to be the dilemma that's being played, Speak, that we were just talking about. That would make it so interesting. That dilemma that forces Kurapika to make a decision for the betterment of the people that he wants to protect, right? Like bringing Oito or Wobble or any of the other princes into this entire scenario, and seeing these moments of cooperation being the only way that something like that could be made possible. That would place Kurapika in a situation to where he would need to put what he wants to do aside in order for the betterment of the others around him. And I think if Krollo were to see something like that, then going back to what Shadow said, that would be like the perfect, you get it. That's what a leader needs to do. And I think we're going to get a similar thing explored with Morena later on in the arc as well, on what what a leader does for the individuals that they are over. It's something that's been prominent throughout the course of the entire arc too. By who ends up winning the Succession War is also going to be a look into that theme as well, on leadership and kings and the things they do. So, just fascinating stuff, especially on the Krollo side of things. Fascinating stuff. Chocolate Thunder says, I don't know why, but I have this weird theory where Kurapika calls Killua. Kurapika calls Killua for help during the Succession War, where Benjamin likely calls for ML, thus sending the war into chaos. ML? ML. Elaborate on ML? Elaborate on ML. Because obviously, hey, y'all know how much I love Killua. I'd be super down for that. But enlighten me on ML. Momame says, since Chrollo still views the legs are more important than the head, it would be a tragic ending for Chrollo if the spider loses all its legs except for the head. That would be the worst case scenario for Chrollo. Oh, martial law. Gotcha. Yes, you're right. Because that is what he that's what was on the cusp of happening. Excuse me, in the past couple chapters. Yes, with martial law. Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. And then it throws everything into chaos. Great point. Going back to Momome's comment, though. The worst case scenario for the rest of the troop and Chrollo himself is losing the others. Right? So, like, if Chrollo's gone, that's worst case scenario for the troop members. For Chrollo, losing all of the legs is the worst case scenario for him. So, we also have to keep that in mind as well. They both see themselves as disposable as long as the other keeps living. Which, once again, so incredibly impactful and important for what's to come. It's so good. It's so good, man. It's so good. Yeah, BTB, and it could happen. It could happen. Rocky says that's why side B is needed, in my opinion. It'll give the context needed for the both of them to make an educated choice. The path to mutual understanding needs the whole truth, or the truth may not be accepted. 100%, Rocky. 100%. 100%. He gets to review Aluka and takes along Kite, Palm, and the other good Chimera ants as well. And while Gon doesn't go, but he has a great heart-to-heart with him before he leaves. Just to give us like a perspective on how things are going around the world. Okay. Who wins Chrollo versus Zuko round 2 in your opinion? It depends on if Chrollo gets his treasures or not. Chrollo gets his treasures, he's winning. But that might not be what the narrative says. Because I feel like now that things are truly popping off, I honestly don't know. Because I don't know what the future of the story has for both characters. Especially if Chrollo meets Kurapika before Chrollo versus Hisoka round 2. I don't know, Abuzar. I don't know. Chrollo gets treasures. I'm betting it on Chrollo. But if he doesn't get the treasures, it realistically could go to Hisoka. From both having learned what happened last time, as well as what the story is going to be asking of the character. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it all depends on that. Hisoka's definitely not washing. they're regardless of who wins, that thing's going down to the wire. It's going on the wire. Chrollo said that the second plan is already in place. What is he cooking? Momome, that's something I can't stop thinking about. Is that panel in particular? Like what is that implying about the second plan being already being in place? It's so fascinating. So, before we end the stream today, next chapter, do we cut back to Hulkenberg? See how that is currently affecting what's going down. Cut back over see what's going on with the princes. Ending the chapter on Kurapika as a thing is about to force him out and about. Leading us into a potential final chapter stretch of this volume. Where us as the reader, understanding Crow's making his way up the stairs, now have to see all the moving pieces happening on Tier 1 and how things are going and moving. Also having the Haley stuff with the Phantom Troop and all of that moving before eventually having Crollo within this stretch run into a very prominent figure in the Succession War, whether it be a prince or a Kurapika or whoever, to end off this stretch. Is that what we're heading towards from a story structure standpoint? Because it feels like the Hulkenberg plotline with Benjamin is the main core piece that Togashi wants to explore within this volume. And then all of the things that are surrounding it is, set up and build up for what's to come in the following batch. So, if that's the case, then we're about to get some heavy troop stuff with the guard, the security thing with Phaeton and Finks. Though I'm not sure if that's in this batch or the next batch. Obviously, the Nobunaga stuff, but it feels like the Hulkenberg and Prince Benjamin stuff is truly about to hit its climax here within these next couple chapters. So that's going to be my prediction. It's next chapter heavy Hulkenberg with a few troop elements as we head into the rest of the stretch. So many proficient Nen geniuses on floor 1. Terror Sandwich needs to finish up training and leave his room before he misses out on all the fun. Neo Starfinder, they let that beast out of the cage, and we're all gonna be screwed. They let Terror Sandwich out of that cage, and we're all screwed. You know what I'm saying? If you go back to the panel before it, he said after he's saying running into Hisoka before getting the ability is not a big problem, so he's still prepared for Plan B. Good point. Yeah, good point. Exactly. Emperor Time says we're going to see the funeral and the Dogman Sodom stuff, and it's going to end with Crollo meeting the person he was calling. I agree. Overall core structure, I agree. Remember that Lorio and Cheeto are probably in the building since they were heading there before the hospital. Yes, good point. Yeah, we saw that in I believe that was 404 as well. Great point there too. And Dogman was trying to find the specialist. Yeah, and it's awesome abilities. Crow's Plan B is Pariston. Who better to stake your stocks into than Pariston? You know what I'm saying? I know I would put my stocks there. My stocks are in Pariston. My stocks have been in Jing and Pariston since the very beginning. You know what I'm saying? But who better? Who better than Pariston? Who better? I can't wait to see Pariston again. It's going to be super, super dope. But ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for this Hunter x Hunter stream. I appreciate everybody for stopping by. This was an excellent chapter exploring not only Crollo's psyche, but also what's going on with the troop members and what we can expect here in the coming chapters as this funeral procession starts to take place. And now the stuff with Lynch is happening over on that side of things. We're just continuing the craziness that this arc has been offering us, the density of it, for what we can expect here in the following chapters, which I definitely do believe is going to be heavy Hulkenberg centric, which is going to be super fun considering the Hulkenberg and Benjamin stuff that has been going about. So obviously can't wait for a continuation for the Crollo stuff and what's going to be happening with the person that he's about to meet with, but also the rest of the craziness that's on Tier 1 too, and the other members of the Phantom Troop. So awesome chapter that continues the craziness of this arc. So I appreciate y'all so much for being here. Absolutely, Roggy, same here. I had a great time with everyone. We will be back with the next chapter next week. I believe there's a One Piece chapter this week. I was told this morning there might be an emergency 2-week break unless that was like a mistranslation. I don't know what's going on there, but if One Piece is not here on this week, then Hunter x Hunter may be in that spot. Unless we have a situation like last week, or I'm sorry, the week before, or then we'll do it on Sunday. So it depends. It depends. We'll see. But Hunter x Hunter will be done next week because we got to see what happens here in the rest of the funeral procession. Awesome chapter this week. Really, really enjoyed it, and looking forward to seeing what comes next in the chef's kitchen. That is the Succession War. So, all love to everyone for showing up. Appreciate y'all so much, and thank you so much for the awesome chat and the discussion that we were able to have, because there was so much to discuss here, especially with the future of this arc. So, all love to everyone. Bleach will be next, and I hope I get the opportunity to do a top 5 of the week, because there's so much stuff I've experienced that I really want to talk about. So I will see y'all then. Have a good one.